This is a really quick video. I wanted to talk about exposing what you're exposing yourself to. So everything you're around and you're exposed to will have an influence on the way that you think. And the way that you think is the way that you're going to behave. So something that I talk about a lot with people when I discuss their daily routine, especially when they wake up and before they go to bed, is what they decide to put into their head. So sometimes you might watch a film or you might read a book. So just be really careful about what you're reading and watching. You know, if you're watching a horror film, that's going to create a really negative, dark aspect to yourself. If you're listening to sad music or something that reminds you of something quite terrible, again, like you're putting these thoughts into your head, and that's going to create who you are. And it sounds really crazy, but just try it. I mean, try reading something, okay, it doesn't have to be spiritual, but maybe just uplifting, that brings you into a higher state, basically. What you don't want to do is bring yourself to a lower state than what you're feeling. And sometimes we're not even aware of what we're watching and what we're putting into our brain that is doing that. Really obvious thing is the news. Like, I'm not saying don't watch the news, but you don't have to fixate on it, because actually it's really negative and it puts a lot of ideas in your head that aren't necessarily the truth. It's just what the media decided to feed you. Like, it's decided to give you that information so that you think in a certain way. And I think it's time that we started waking up to that. And just, you know, there's so much stuff in the news that you don't need to read about. We don't need to know about all these tests that are done to show that if you eat this, your cholesterol is going to be high, or this is going to cause cancer, and all of these crazy things. Yeah, you don't need to know this stuff, like celebrity gossip. You don't need to know this. It's just rubbish that's being put into your head to fill a space. Now, imagine if that rubbish wasn't there and you had that space to think for yourself. Like, amazing things can happen, I think, everybody in our health. So it's just something to think about. In terms of a health perspective, think about what you're told. I did a video about women's health and, you know, what you're told about your body as a woman is very much fear-based. It's the same as childhood vaccinations, childhood allergies, childhood eczema. It's always problem, and risk factors and what you're going to be most likely to get, least likely to get. In adulthood, there's all the cancer testing, and this is very necessary, some of the testing, but you've just got to be careful that you're not putting fear into your mind about these things. And as obviously in old age, there's a lot of fear as well. So AYURVEDA views everything as an influence to your being, because it's very spiritual. It is a spiritual medical practice. So it looks at this aspect, and what you feed into yourself is just like your food. Like, if you feed a plate of rubbish, or not rubbish, but bad food, junk food, into your body, the body doesn't recognise it, doesn't like it, rejects it, you become ill. It's the same as when you put bad, like negative influence media into your mind. You then start behaving that way as well. So just be really careful about what you expose yourself to, because it plays a part in your health.